Hello, my name's OK Savage. Welcome to my channel. First of all, I would like to say I do know there is a different background than usual. That is because I'm going out straight after I record this voiceover to help a friend with a few things, and my phone needs charging, and I didn't have time to sort my room out so that I could put the charger somewhere upstairs where it would reach to film the... It's a whole thing. Anyway, so enjoy my living room as opposed to my bedroom. This week, what I'm doing is, what I've done is I've started the artwork that's going to be the artwork for my next single that's coming out. Now, this single has actually been, like, the music for it has been finished for over a year at this point, and the only reason I've not released it yet is because I've not got around to making any artwork for the cover of it. So I thought, right, I'll do it finally. I've not finished it yet. This is actually going to be the first part in a series, but you'll see where I get up to. Basically, I've recorded myself with where I've got up to with it so far, and we're going to watch it together, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the process and about the upcoming track. Here we go. So, as you can see, I didn't actually record the process of sketching it. The sketch, interestingly enough, I didn't sketch straight onto the canvas. I actually did a version, if I can find it, I actually did a version in my notebook first, which has since been turned into a colouring page, which is quite fun. I'll see if I can find it to show it to you, but I quite often like to do that with paintings. I like to do a little sketch just to get an idea of what I want, and then I can put that onto the canvas and make any changes. Like, if I see parts of it that I don't like, I can change that when I come to draw it on the canvas. But yeah, that's the version that lives in my notebook at the moment. It actually, when I first sketched it, it wasn't this detailed, but I've added a lot of detail to make it more fun as a colouring page, because that's one of the things that I put on my Patreon a lot, is colouring pages for people to print out and colour in. So I'll just show you that there. It's got stars. It's pretty. Yeah, so anyway, the process was basically I transferred that drawing onto the canvas. I say transferred, painstakingly redrew that drawing onto the canvas, and then I'm just filling in the basic colours that I kind of want to start it with. I did actually start out with the stars sketched out, and I had this idea that I was going to paint round the stars, but I was really, really tired when I was doing this, and I kept just painting over the corners of them so much that I thought, I'm going to have to go through and correct this so much anyway. I will just paint the stars on afterwards, which is why you see I've just filled in that top area with blue, because ideally, you know, if you've got a white space, you do want to leave a white space, because it's horrible painting white over the top of a darker colour. But also, that's a lot of intricate stuff for like 10 at night when I was doing this. So I thought, better to get something down, better to get my base colours on, because then I'm going to feel inspired to work on it later on, and even if it's a bit trickier to do later, at least I've got a start. Whereas actually going around all the outlines was not something that I was up to doing right then. So as you can see, I've got the blue on. Everywhere that there's that shade of blue, I've gone through and put that. And now I'm adding some purple. I wanted the purple next to the blue so that there's not too much contrast between those, but that nice blue area looks a lot brighter because it's got this dark purple next to it. Kind of looks a bit like Marge Simpson at this point, which I didn't really think until I saw it with, you know, with this big blue hair coming out of its head. I'm like, oh yeah, Marge vibes. But hopefully will look less like Marge Simpson when it's finished. The reason that there's this character with the big hair and everything, and why this hair sort of goes off in a big bouffant kind of mess, and then there's all the swirls and everything coming out around it, and it's sort of the centre that creates the background around it, is because the song that I'm doing the artwork for is called Tangled Mess. and it's not actually about hair. I didn't make a whole song about hair, but basically the words, like the language, the metaphors used, it's all very hair based. This is something we learned at university when I was learning about songwriting, actually, which is it's called like a word box, where you choose a metaphor that you want to use in your song, and you go through and you write down all the things that you associate with that idea, whatever it is, like hair, or you could do one about like journeys, or you pick a word and you write all your associated words, and then you also pick your topic. So my topic for this song was kind of feeling weird and out of place. And you go through and you write down all your words and phrases that you associate with that. And then those are your two word boxes. And you look at those and you kind of synthesize your lyrics. You come up with the inspiration for your lyrics from that. It's a really fun process. I need a drink because I'm talking really fast. It's made my mouth very dry. So yeah, I'm just starting in with the pink now. I really wanted some pink on here. I wanted to kind of take away from how cold the colours were, because obviously there's a lot of blue, and I know there's the purple, but purple doesn't really warm blue up that much. If anything, it's like you see blue and purple and you're like, ah, that's cold. And I didn't want a really super cold image. I wanted something very vibrant and full of life, which is why I put in the pink. And as you can see now, there's some green as well. And I think a little bit of that as well was because of all the swirls and everything. I think it lends itself to a kind of almost like psychedelic kind of colour palette. I did flirt with the idea of putting like some yellow or orange in there as well, but I don't know, it kind of felt a little bit too far in that direction. I don't know, if I did it again, I might experiment with it. I might do that anyway. I might experiment with doing different versions of it, but for now, this version of it that I'm doing, I've stuck to kind of blues, pinks, and then this little bit of green, which I think also brings a bit of organic kind of life into it, which I really wanted as a contrast to this very cold, spacey sort of figure, which obviously the cold, spacey sort of figure is because the song's about feeling isolated and weird. Symbolism! But yeah, the figure's actually going to be quite dark when it's done, that's why I'm putting a lot of black in there. It's going to have this sort of gradient where it starts off very black at the bottom and it fades up to this quite vibrant blue with the stars and everything. I've not actually done the stars yet, that'll be in the next one. You can see now I'm going over my colours and just adding an extra layer of the same colour. Essentially, this is because when you're working on a canvas and you've not got like a base layer, like a lot of the time if you're doing something where you're working wet on wet, you'll have a base layer which will be like a thick white paint that you'll use for smudging things. But I didn't want anything smudged, I wanted it very clean, which means that you get bits of the canvas showing through with the first time you're putting your colours on. So you really want to go through and just add an extra layer when you've got something with these sort of clean lines, because it makes the colour more vibrant, stops bits of the canvas peeking through, which obviously, it's a stylistic choice. You can have bits of the canvas peeking through, but it doesn't work that well for the whole clean line, cartoony sort of vibe that I want to build on. Like, it's not necessarily going to have that look when it's done, but that's the look that I want it to have at this stage, because then I've got that to work from, so I know where I'm going. And I definitely don't want the canvas showing through, because I want it to be a very kind of full image. Like, I want it full of colour. I want it to just pop out at you like, whoa, that's a colourful image. There's a lot going on there. So yeah, blank spaces. That being said, I have left where the eyes are going to be blank, and that is just because those are going to be very very bright later on, and I didn't want, you know what I was saying about the stars earlier, I didn't want that absolute pain in the bum of having to repaint those on afterwards. And also because getting the eyes, like the nice little almond shapes, the right style and size and everything, took a while with drawing it. So I don't want to have to repeat that process needlessly later when I'm painting. It's better to just use the drawing as the guide that it's supposed to be, if that makes sense. That's pretty much it. That's where I've got to at this point. I know this is a very short video, but getting to that point actually took me about 2 hours, I think. It's surprising how long it takes to just put colours onto canvas, even without much detail and stuff. I think a lot of it is because there's a lot of quite intricate shapes going on with lines, because they're very wavy. I can actually show you. So this is the progress that I've got so far. This isn't by any means a finished image. This is not what it's going to look like. It's not even very representative of what I imagine it's going to look like. But this is kind of the base that I wanted to have to work on to build the image up from this base. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be recording the entire rest of the process of turning this into the finished image, which obviously you don't know what that looks like right now. I've got an idea of what it looks like in my head. That will change and evolve and develop as I'm doing it. So truly, no one knows what it looks like. But yeah, we'll find out together. It'll be fun. I hope you stick with me through this journey. And I'm excited to be able to show you the song once it's got some artwork for it. Thanks for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters who help me do all of this. And yeah, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. And I'll see you next time.